We're on, and I thought long and hard about before we got on today. I thought to myself, I said, Self, what do you want today's episode to be about? We've made 60 episodes now, if my math is correct. I'm sure somebody will correct me. If you want to be that person, knock yourself out. You can go back and watch all my videos. All those views actually help me, so I don't mind. I'll be wrong. People can't take being wrong anymore, and I noticed that a lot. I noticed that a lot this week. And even though I do this sketch late night comedy show for you every single week, I don't want you to forget that it's not just about bullshit, knee-jerk type jokes. It's about what we feel. And nobody's talking about real things that they're going through anymore. I didn't realize it until I was at my chiropractor today and I said, I just feel like it's hard to get close to anybody anymore. And maybe that's me. Maybe that's just a me thing. I can't get close to people because you get burned. People disappoint you. People let you down. You're so busy carrying the load for everybody that one day you're going to turn around and you're going to think, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? And I got there today. I thought to myself, late nights. Gosh, I love late nights. This is my hobby. This is the most exciting part of the week for me. I mean, shit, I turned my dining room into a studio. If you saw what was going on here, you might be scratching your head a little bit. It's not customary to turn your dining room into a office space. I mean, we took the measurements, as many as we could, right? Measure twice, cut once. For my blue-collar guys, and you get it. Maybe you're a little slow, so you measure 14 times, cut 14 times. We measured it. We put the biggest desk possible into this space because I had a vision and it didn't make sense. And I was like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Nobody likes this idea. I should do this. And that's how I feel about a lot of my ideas. As soon as I realize people don't like it, I'm like, this is it. This is it. You got to have space for your hobbies. You have to have space for you. Because it's like one of these internal commitments where you know you want to do it. And you're going to keep thinking about it. And if you don't do it, you're going to become regretful that you didn't. So just do it. What do you have to lose? It's late nights. I'm your host, Anthony Cassess, and it's a late night. It's a long week. This week, I got battered. I got my absolute ass handed to me. Mentally, physically, because this old age, 30 years old, I don't care what you people say, because you know who you are. I will smack the shit out of you if you think 30 is not old. Go ahead, say it. 30's old. I don't care what you say. Troll, family, friend. 30's old. This body feels old. I felt it emotionally this week. I felt it spiritually. And shit, I'm even condensating a little bit, so I'm feeling it right now. Got battered. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. I'm not a baby about it, and neither can you. So this is why we do late nights. Because maybe it's fun and exciting, and we can talk about silly things. Like recently, Shia LaBeouf getting his ass battered in New Orleans. That's pretty funny. Nobody's heard of Shia LaBeouf in years. And boom, out of nowhere, like your old cousin or your Uncle Jimmy that you haven't seen in a while, just comes to the family party just cranked. Like that sister you only talk to every few years, but man, when she shows up, you know the police are closely following. Like that, just kind of popped out of nowhere, just doing his thing. Now look, I don't condone the violence and all that shit. When I was 18, I got my ass handed to me plenty. I had a best friend. Every time I brought him somewhere, he'd get his ass kicked. And I'd say, what is wrong with this kid? 30? I don't need it now. So this is Late Nights. I'm your host, Anthony Cassess. It's going to be another late night for us. It's going to be a late night for you because Shia LaBeouf is getting his ass kicked. Just kind of how we are here in New Jersey. We just got hit with something like, I don't know, between 15 inches of snow and like 30 inches of snow. I don't know who's making the math. I don't care. I just know I got to deal with it. And if you're on the East Coast and you get it, it's pretty annoying. But I think I'd rather get battered with snow then battered with court documents like a silly somebody. Shia LaBeouf. You saw him.
Hey, don't be silly, yeah?
Yeah, you saw him. This isn't back in the day, Shyla. It's just not you and Zero wander around Madame Maroney's house. But we all have a path, we all have a journey. Not to mention, as much as I hate the snow, what's that thing that predicts the snow, that animal? Tawny? What's his name? Did I write it down? Tawny. Patani. Punxsutawney. He really screwed us this year. I'm not gonna lie, this has been the most depressing season of my life. I never knew I had seasonal depression, but here we are. I have seasonal depression. I do. Now I do. It was unconfirmed. But in the last 2 weeks, with all the snow and frigid cold and Arctic air, I am now confirmed a seasonally depressed person, and I own that right. I reserve that right. And I'm going to laugh about it because it's crazy, man. I just can't wait until the nice weather comes back around because I'm just tired of how miserable this weather makes people. It makes everybody so miserable. And the only thing I'm mad about is Punxsutawney. He screwed us. He said, look, you guys are going to get way more than you bargained for. And I used to just go to the Farmer's Almanac to get my download. So, like, I'm just kind of here, like, scratching my head after a long week. Like, gosh, is this over? Is this done? To whomever it may concern, please make it stop snowing. I'm scared. I'm seasonally depressed. Gosh, I live at the Jersey Shore. It feels like the Jersey, Alaska. I feel like I'm on the polar ice caps. Pretty soon polar bears are going to start walking around. It's bad enough I got to see my neighbors walking around with their smug faces. Neighbors act like you're the reason the weather sucks. And I ask people, I say, how are you doing? How's things? You know, how's it going? How are you? You know, how's everything? I think it's an important question. We don't ask each other enough these days. How are you? How's it going for you? Maybe I'm a weird oddball guy for that. It makes me weird. Nobody asked me how I'm doing. Thank you for inquiring. I'm doing great. Just kidding. If you haven't subscribed to Late Nights, this is a weekly sketch comedy late night show where not only do I make jokes and write them myself and occasionally use ChatGPT, but not often, I like to share personal stories that I learn along the way in my week that hopefully help you. And hopefully you learn something so that you can go do something productive with your life, because I felt like for a long time, my teens, my 20s, I'm 30 now, only just recently stopped feeling like, wow, I'm a worthless piece of shit. And I don't say that because I need sympathy or anybody to validate, Anthony, you're fine, you're great, you're yada, yada, yada. No. We're past that. I needed your help. You weren't there, okay? You weren't there. Don't come to my savior now. Don't even do it, you silly goose. Silly. People get so silly. They act all silly on you. But I think it's important because I don't think we ask people how they're doing, and because, you know, life is hard. And, you know, not every time I sit down for this late night episode do I feel, wow, I'm so excited, I'm so overjoyed. But I think that's what life is about, is doing the thing that you know you want to do and have to do. Because eventually, if you do that enough times, you feel that internal commitment. It's gratifying. It's gratifying to do the thing that you're like, God, I don't feel like doing this. I always see it with people in, like, relationships. I've got friends that are like, you know, this isn't working out with this girl, you know, we're just going to keep going at it. The relationship's toxic, you know, it's toxic, whatever. And I'm like, just part ways. Cut your losses in life. Far too often we spend time doing things that we don't feel like are aligned with us. And why? Why do you do that? I can't do that. You just can't stop, because life doesn't stop for anybody. And that was really what I wanted you to know going into today's episode. Not that the weather's fucked, which it is, and that we listen to a giant gopher, or whatever that thing is, Punxsutawney, to predict the weather. I mean, when did we stop listening to Farmer's Almanacs? And don't even get me started about Shia LaBeouf looking very silly going into court today. it's not really about any of that, guys. It's about how are you doing? How's your mental health? And are you stopping? Are you speeding up? Are you slowing down? Because look, I'll tell you right now, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. But you should. You should absolutely, without a doubt, be bought into you. You need to be your own biggest cheerleader. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. Sometimes life beats us down. It gets hard. I know it gets hard for me. It sucks. It sucks about 99% of that time. But that 1% of the time where you get it right, where you score the big job. I remember working so hard to get a good position. And I finally got it. And I thought, geez, about time. And then there was something else I needed. You score the amazing girl or the amazing boy. And you get it. But now you got to keep it. You got to score good on that test. So you work really hard. And those are gratifying things. That's the stuff that needs your attention. But if you're not doing well, it's hard to do any of that. So by 30, what I learned was you need to take care of yourself. And I used to think it's really corny. I used to think it was really cliche. Because I was surrounded by so many people that were so cool. They were so cool because they didn't care. They were so cool because they had no opinion. They were so cool because they didn't need to kick it. They didn't need that. They didn't need that. But the truth was they did. They just bottled it up. They bottled it up. And I spent so much of my teens and my 20s around these people that made me scratch my head. They made me think I was insane. They made me think I was insane because I was carrying the load. Well, you don't have to carry the load. Life teaches us that very trait, that very value, that very lesson in some way when you need to learn it. Whether it's here on late nights when you get up off the couch and say, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it better. I'm going to figure it out. Not for me. I'm going to figure it out one way or another, you know. Look, one day at a time for me, but one way or another, I'm going to figure it out because it's hard and it's allowed to be hard. Look at Punchy the monkey. Look at Punchy the monkey. Look at what Little Punch went through. Little Punch had nobody, an orphan. Little Punch, not worried about the snow. Not worried about fucking Shia LaBeouf. Not worried about Kennedy or the Senate hearings or town hall meetings or wars in the Middle East. Epstein or gosh, why work is such a miserable place. Punchy wasn't worried about shit. And poor Punchy had nobody. Nobody. But as soon as Punchy was brought in and taken into a family that loved him, that gave him a chance, he was made whole. That's so exciting. We all yearn for it. It's what makes you whole, is to feel love. But to give yourself love is the one thing that nobody does anymore. And I know I'm sounding very Mr. Rogers, but we just don't give ourselves a chance and we don't give ourselves the credit where it's due. So I hope way before you're 30, you learn to laugh a little and take yourself seriously and overcommit, overlove yourself and give yourself a fucking chance. Maybe that's not funny, but maybe today's episode wasn't meant to be funny. Sometimes we just gotta talk mano y mano. So what, life is kicking your ass the same way Shia LaBeouf was getting kicked in New Orleans this last week? So what? And maybe you don't have the love that you think you deserve, just like Punchy the monkey. So what? Maybe you've got a business idea you're scared to pull the trigger on. What are you waiting for? You don't learn by analyzing. You learn by doing. I didn't learn how to set up a camera. I didn't learn how to use this goddamn camera. I spent way too much money. I got no fucking clue how to use this thing. I didn't learn by just looking at lights online. I didn't learn by just sitting down. I learned by doing it and showing up when I don't feel like it. That's how you learn. And hopefully that's a lesson you learn before you're 30. Maybe it takes you until you're 40. Maybe you never learn. Maybe you're really just stuck. That's okay too. Feel your feelings, but please remember, pick yourself up at the end of the day. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to save you. I'm Anthony Cassess. I enjoyed this episode more than most. It's important to get even and get leveled with where we are in the world, and sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it just fucking sucks. And I sit here, and I have my nice hair, and I have my nice little sweater. I'm just doing the best I can, just like you. Hopefully you enjoy late nights. You subscribe to late nights, and to all the people that have supported this until this very moment, I really want to say thank you, because unfortunately you can't do anything in this world without views or subscribers, and that's not lost on me, although inherently I wish it were. Because God, sometimes it's so annoying. Anyway, till next week, stay out of trouble. Love yourself just like Punchy the Monkey. And don't get your ass kicked like Shia LaBeouf. Till next time. This is Late Nights. Alright.